Hello and welcome to Fixin' Stitching Machines. I'm Mr. Stitcher Fixer, or Jamin, whatever you want to call me. For today, I have an old Kenmore or Sears machine. Model number is 158-12000. Okay, so on this Kenmore, let's get a bobbin wound and test and see how this old machine works. Your thread guide, it just loops around. This is your pre-tensioner. You want to go underneath the edge there, and you'll hear the thread just kind of click. And go around once. Then you're going to wrap around your bobbin a few times. Cut that extra thread. Lock that in place. You're going to free up your hand wheel. Then you're just going to push on your foot pedal. And we will let that wind up. And these newer machines, as opposed to some of the older machines we show you here on our YouTube channel, this one does have a stopper, and it will disengage when the bobbin is full. To load this bobbin, you want the thread coming off from your right. You're going to stick it in the slot in the bobbin case, and you will see that that thread goes right in there, wraps all the way around, and just comes up like so. To load the bobbin, you're going to take this tail, and it's going to match in that little notch that you see right up there, and you're just going to put it straight in the hole, and you'll see it clicked in this little button here. Now, for the sake of the video, I did take the bobbin cover off. That simply just slides right back in place like that. Alright, and to thread this old Kenmore, again, we're going to take our thread and wrap it around our thread guide. Come here and wrap it around our thread guide. Then we're going to come down here by our tension, and that's going to go all the way past our check spring. So you can see that the check spring is moving. Then you're going to come back down, and the hand wheel, I turned it a little bit to get the uptake to come up. That makes that a little easier. Down here, you're just going to wind it around for that thread guide. And then down here, you also have another thread guide. Zoom in a little bit. And that just wraps around. Then you have one more thread guide down here. This one's a little harder to see. Let me get the camera to focus. You can see this other thread guide right here. So we take our thread, wrap it around the little curlicue, and again, as always, I do cut a fresh edge to be able to thread the needle. This machine is an older machine and does thread left to right. I always find for myself that it is easier to do so with a pair of tweezers than it is trying to do it barehanded. Just not that steady. But you turn the hand wheel, it grabs your other thread, you are ready to roll. And as you can see, this machine can do, and see if it passes the manager's expectations. So right now we're set for a straight stitch at a 2mm stitch. You see that machine humming right along. And to show you the zigzag, you set it to whatever width you want and then tighten the lock nut. There's your zigzags. And then to show you that the reverse is working, we'll change that width just a little. Plug it into reverse and keep it going. So you can see that that machine is doing a great job of stitching. This switch here allows you to drop the feed dogs and do free motion or darning. The next thing I'll show you is some denim. This is 12-ounce denim, and as you can see, that's 3 layers. And same thing, that neat little zigzag and reverse working just beautifully. And a straight stitch. Let's do a long one. And let's do a full zigzag just because we can. Gotta love how wonderful these all-metal older machines just do beautiful stitches. Some of the other things I like to test my sewing machines on before they either leave the shop from a repair, or if it is a machine like this one where it's for sale, is I like to test sew on tricot. It's a terrible fabric to sew on because it slips. If you see this side, it's super smooth and shiny, and this side has ribs. And so I fold it so that the smooth side is against itself. That makes the fabric easy to slide on itself. And so that makes it difficult to sew on. So if my settings are correct, then the machine will sew on the tricot no problem. I use tricot as a truther to make sure that I've done my job correctly and that the machine will sew as it should. You can change your pressure foot tension here, and with tricot we'll change it just a little bit and just have it a little bit lighter and turn our tension down just a tiny bit. Same thing, beautiful stitches. Let's set it up for a zigzag. Now with tricot, you really wouldn't want to go much more than about a 3mm wide zigzag. But there you go. Isn't that great? Okay, and so here we have 3 layers of upholstery weight leather. We're at a 4mm long stitch. And it just burns right on through it. No problems. You gotta love it. Okay, so with leather, one of the other things I like to do is have a cut. And I put that right in the center. I leave it at a zigzag, and so either side of the zigzag. Just to sew it all back together. Okay, so I drew a leaf because that's about as good as my drawing skills get, but let's drop the feed dogs. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but the feed dogs are up, the feed dogs are down. What that does is that allows you to sew in free motion. So what we can do is place our needle, and now I can sew in any direction by just simply moving the fabric only. Now, bear with me because this is far from my normal sewing ability, but it can be done by somebody with much more skill sewing than I have. You'll see I'm not having to lift the presser foot, and I'm just able to just essentially draw with the thread. So if I cut off my little jumpers, someone that's more artsy than me and that can draw a straighter line can sew a leaf too. That's what the free motion sewing allows a person to do. They just need to have more skill than me. Okay, along with the age of this sewing machine, it did need rewired, and so I have a disconnect here so that when it's in a box, if somebody puts it in a box or if somebody puts it in a table, they can easily take this plug apart and reattach. It only connects one way, so they don't have to worry about any electrical problems. The rebuildable plugs that I use also have a folding feature to make more use out of your surge protector. So it's got a fresh rewire job on it, and it is ready to go. This has been Mr. Stitcher Fixer at the Fix and Stitching Machines channel. I hope that you have a grand day. Enjoy your life.